Now, let's go in depth. The federal government shut down overnight and after a deadlocked Congress failed to reach a deal before the deadline. While Republicans are in control of both chambers, they do need votes from Democrats in order to fund the government. Julia Benbrook reports both parties are still at odds right now and are determined not to take the blame for the lapse in funding.
Earlier this week, we saw the top leaders from both parties and both chambers meeting here at the White House with the stated goal of trying to come to an agreement to keep the government open. But in the hours and days after that meeting, it became clear that both sides were really digging in. And now that there is a government shutdown, the blame game continues.
Democrats want to play political games with the lives and the livelihoods of Americans.
Republicans have adopted a my way or the highway approach. They basically have said, take it or leave it with respect to our partisan Republican spending bill.
So what are the main sticking points? While Democrats are pushing to extend enhanced Obamacare subsidies, Republicans are asking for essentially an extension of current funding for another 7 weeks. When it comes to how this shutdown differs from those in the past, the threat of mass firings looms large. While it is typical to see some government workers furloughed during this time, the president is threatening a more permanent impact, which lines up with his long-stated goal to shrink the size of the federal government and could be seen as a tactic the administration hopes will force Democrats to support their plan without compromise. The last government shutdown took place at the end of 2018 going into 2019 during President Donald Trump's first term. It was the longest in more than 4 decades, lasting 35 days in total. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
All right, so enough of the politicians. Let's get to the local impacts. Tulsa International Airport released a statement yesterday saying the flying public should not expect many changes in the way of air travel. TSA agents and air traffic controllers are considered essential employees who must work and cannot be furloughed. However, they may be working, but until the federal government reopens, they will not be paid. All U.S. air carriers sent a joint letter to Congress expressing concern that during the last long government shutdown, the longer essential aviation personnel went without a paycheck, the more people called out sick during the last shutdown, leading to delays and even some safety concerns.
It's not going to be perfect because we are in a government shutdown. We are going to have to lay some people off if the shutdown continues. We don't like that. We don't necessarily want to do it, but we're going to do what we have to keep the American people's essential services continuing to run.
Vice President J.D. Vance repeated President Trump's line that a prolonged government shutdown will lead not to furloughs, but the actual laying off of some federal workers across the country. Workers who are considered non-essential are right now at home on furlough, but will receive back pay once the government reopens. Last night on this very program, Oklahoma U.S. Senator James Lankford said if the Trump administration carries out its threats to lay off non-essential federal workers, it is likely some Oklahomans could get caught up in that. Which ones? We'll just have to wait and see. When it comes to local benefits tied to federal funding, it's a bit complicated. In the short term, Sooner Care and SNAP benefits are fine. Nothing has changed and they are funded for now. If the government shutdown lingers for weeks and becomes an issue for months, that's when processing delays and strains on the administration of these programs will start to be felt. The state of Oklahoma and the federal government handle both of these programs together. So when it comes to Sooner Care, known as Medicaid in other states, there are contingencies in place for smaller shutdowns, but complications arise the longer they go on for.
Our books are balanced, our government is open, we don't have the dysfunction that plagues a lot of governments in this country.
What citizens of the Muskogee Nation need to know is that this nation is strong, it's prepared, and it's been through instances like this before.
Now, many people on this side of the state get tribal health care benefits that have federal funding tied to them. Joining me tonight is Fox 23's Devin Lyon. He's been speaking with tribal leaders about how the shutdown could impact them. And Devin, do they have concerns?
So the short answer would be not yet, of course. Since the last one from 2018, there's been legislation that's been passed to try to advance appropriations for critical services. So Indian health services should not be impacted. And some of those larger tribes, they're more self-sufficient with their healthcare systems. I think the concern would be, of course, how long is the shutdown going to take? And then for some of those smaller tribes, apart from Indian health systems, The concern would be areas such as housing and food and nutritional programs. That's where the concern would be.
So are people still making appointments and having the surgeries?
Yes. For whether it's a specific nation like the Cherokee Nation or Muskogee Creek, or through Indian Health Systems, those claims, those surgeries, those appointments are still going on as usual.
All right, final question, and then sounds like the pain could come if things drag out. For now, everyone is saying fine, they'll be fine, but they will stay afloat. It is the long-term thing is what they are worried about. Is that right?
Yes, it's the long-term thing. Your larger tribes are already budgeted and appropriated for the next fiscal year, but those smaller tribes are the ones who could feel it first as early as Monday for some of them.
All right, thank you, Devin. Good work today.
Thank you.
More details for you now, this time on the Veteran Affairs Administration side. We'll put it up on the screen for you. The VA sent out a notice about how their operations will be complicated. The VA says all clinics and health benefits, as well as education, pension, and housing benefits remain normal. What will not be happening is transitional and career assistance and any help with GI Bill benefits. Regional benefit offices are also closed. Headstone and ground maintenance at VA cemeteries are on hold until further notice. They will also not be processing applications for pre-burial needs. However, we should note, should a veteran pass at this time, actual burials in VA cemeteries will continue to happen normally.